Good morning. I'm Kate Metzinger. I oversee our media marketing technology investments for Georgia Pacific.
Good morning, I'm Douwe Bergsma. I'm the CMO of Georgia Pacific, and I'd like to start with thanking Kate for bringing us here and for running and leading the partnership that we recently started with Salesforce and Crocs. I also want to thank Salesforce for obviously organizing this great event and for including us. Because let's be fair, we actually don't know why we're here. Click. I think the data is not transforming to the slides. All right, thank you. So we don't know why we're here, because we got our hands on the data-driven speaker selection matrix that Salesforce is using. And they have kind of a net promoter score-like assessment of potential speakers in the industry. On the one hand, they have the net bigness score, and on the other hand, they have the net coolness score. So they select speakers that represent big companies, like McDonald's and Sony. And on the other hand, you have those that are cool, like Experie and Pandora. And I think they planned Pandora right after us as a failsafe. And then they didn't forget about L'Oreal and themselves, who are apparently big and cool and rapidly growing. And then, typically, they would skip the box to the bottom left. But not today. They invited us. We're not big, and definitely not cool, given the industry we're in. And for many of you, not even known. You probably know we're based in Georgia. The name kind of gives it away, as well as the song that we play when we enter stage. But let me help you out. Since 1929, we are one of the largest manufacturers of paper products. We do copy paper, boxes, corrugate, building products. We're one of the largest recycling companies in the United States. We make paper cups, paper plates, napkins, paper towels. You get the idea. We do it on the B2C as well as the B2B, although I regret to inform you that this hotel does not use our products. Little hint to Salesforce. Says, as far as I know, you're not working with the other guys. But we are also the largest manufacturer of toilet paper in the United States. Now, then you think, okay, you're not big, you're not cool, and giving your product, you're kind of an old-fashioned industry. Why are you at a Data Matters conference? Well, I'm happy to inform you that the days that we produce toilet paper like this are over. And we use a lot of data. And the most interesting point is probably our category penetration. Because I know many of you will be jealous of the high level of category penetration we have. It is 95%. Now, while you might be happy with 95%, every day we are worried about that 5% that apparently does not purchase toilet paper. Good. As the CMO of the company, I hope you recognize some of our brands. Dixie is probably our most famous one, as well as Vanity Fair, but we have a wide range of products. And as a refresher, we'll show you a video of our latest content in the marketplace. So now you know who we are and what we do. And I get it. Many of you start doing your email and take up that phone call or meet with that vendor you desperately wanted to meet with. So we put our last slide first. In our last fiscal year, our revenue, our profit, and our market share has grown significantly. And Kate and I are happy to inform you that brand building and marketing was a big part of that success. And within brand building and marketing, two key elements were big drivers. One was storytelling and story orchestration, and the other was data. Hence our conversation today. So what do we mean when we talk about marketing and brand building? We look at marketing and brand building through three metaphors. Our friends at Character Inc., or most of you know them as Character Camp, taught us that there are three metaphors of marketing. One we're all very familiar with is the metaphor of war. The second is the metaphor of science, and Kate will go into that in a minute. And the third is the metaphor of story. And we try to embrace all three of them at the same time. In the science part, we look at the knowledge and control, and we try to improve our predictability. And I think this will resonate with this audience today for sure. On story, it's very different. We embrace meaning and connection, and actually like complexity and emotion, which the science part tries to prevent, so there's a little conflict there. And the objective is to have a shared sense of purpose. So that's how we view marketing and how we view storytelling. And we prefer to talk about story orchestration, similar to what you heard Salesforce talk about earlier, rather than storytelling only. But let's look at science for a minute.
So to Douwe's point, we embrace the idea of measurement and certainty and believe that over the past several years, we've done a pretty good job of working through war and science with data. For the past many years, we've leveraged partners like Nielsen for advanced marketing mix modeling, APT, Mu Sigma, and many others. Way back in 2012, we started to infuse data into our linear TV schedules with Rentrack, IRI, and NCS, which has now evolved to a 5-year relationship where we've created a holistic, data-driven video strategy. To our digital efforts, we're working with our partners at Zenith, using different data sources like Experie, i360, NCS, and more. We've tested every conceivable targeting scheme on the planet. I'm pretty sure we're all worked through on that. As well as our partners at Meredith, who are speaking later today or tomorrow, I believe, where we leverage their second-party data to increase performance and purchase intent for our brands by 44%. To finally, as of January this year, our Crux partnership, Salesforce DMP. That's going to take me some time to get used to. So with our Crux, Salesforce DMP partnership, where we're going to continue to pull the efficiency and effectiveness levers with frequency management and enhanced audience segmentation. While we're just getting started with Crux, I'd like to think a lot of our past bets have paid out, so we're optimistic that this one could work as well. However, to Douwe's point, we don't think that data should just live in science. We think it plays a vital role in story as well.
Thank you, Kate. Kate is one of the best leaders I've been blessed to work with throughout my career, and that slide you just said made me look really good in the last 5 to 6 years, so thanks for that. So talking about story, I highlighted the fact that in story we looked at the shared sense of purpose. And story orchestration by itself could be a whole day of the summit here. So we highlight the most important difference between story orchestration and storytelling because it's really relevant for the Data Matters conference that we're talking about today. So in story orchestration, we differentiate between storytelling and story framework. Storytelling is basically the top of the iceberg that you see. It's above the surface. It's the specific way we implement and activate the story in the marketplace. It's the movie, it's the book, it's the country song, it's your ad. But below the surface is something that we believe is way more important, is the story framework. And it's within the story framework you decide what the meaning of the story is, what the characterization will be, what the purpose is of the brand, and what your conflict is that drives the story. And why is that so important? Well, think about the next difference. If you're only about storytelling, you're continuously focusing putting stories in the marketplace. If you're about story framework, you can do multiple stories in the marketplace. Let's look at an actor in a play and an actor in improv theater. If you're an actor in a play, you have a script that you rehearse over and over again, and you execute that play every night in different theaters. It doesn't matter who the audience is. It doesn't matter whether you're playing in the afternoon or in the evening. And it doesn't matter where the theater is, and it doesn't matter how the audience responds. If they're booing or they're laughing, they're clapping or walking out, the data that you get back doesn't impact the story that you're executing that night or afternoon. Now you're in improv theater, and we work a lot with actors and writers in improv theater. They predominantly focus on the story framework. They know who they are, they know what their purpose is, and how they want to engage with their audience. But they don't necessarily know what the story is going to be on the next performance. They are improv actors. They respond to the audience. They know where they are and how to respond to the situation. They can respond to what we would call the data, be it the applause, be it the laughing of people being quiet or booing. That's the big difference between storytelling, where you have a fixed script, and story framework, where you know who you are and what you stand for, but you can adjust to the situation and you can adjust to the data. Which basically brings us to the simple data-driven story orchestration that we're embracing at Georgia-Pacific. On the one hand, we leverage story framework and story orchestration, and we feed that story framework with, on the other hand, the data, embracing the story metaphor at the same time as embracing the science metaphor. And if you do that loop right, and we're nowhere near by doing it right, by the way, but if one day we will do it right, you are able to continuously and consistently approach the right people with the right content at the right time and at the right place. But enough about the theory. Let's look at some examples how we bring this into practice.
So our first story we'll share is about our Brawny brand. We define the Brawny purpose as inspiring people to overcome life's challenges with strength and resilience. So 2 years ago, we brought back the iconic Brawny giant to help people and encourage people to embrace their inner giant and stay giant. For the past 2 years in March, that has come to life through the Strength Has No Gender activation in March, where we celebrate International Women's Day as well as Women's History Month by highlighting women in traditionally male-dominated professions. This year, we focused on STEM. We're able to highlight these women and the challenges that they face and how they've overcome them to inspire those around them. Not only does it personally feel good to be involved in an activation like this, it delivers on the brand purpose, but it's also delivering on business results. Let's take a quick look at a video.
Brawny man is being replaced for the month by a woman.
Every time a barrier is broken with determination and resilience, women prove strength has no gender.
One must have resilience.
Not just for myself, but for others. Who wrote the rules? I can write my own rules.
Brawny is also donating $75,000 to organizations encouraging more young women to get involved in science, technology, and math fields.
Brawny has replaced their iconic flannel-wearing man here, that's right, with a woman.
It's wonderful to be working with Brawny with Strength Has No Gender.
This is a part of the hashtag Strength Has No Gender initiative. The rolls with the Brawny women packaging can be found in Walmart stores across America.
Thank you, Brawny, for putting my face on paper towels. Your move, Charmin.
Brawny paper towel.
Brawny women. Brawny. Brawny.
Brawny.
Brawny.
Brawny. Brawny. Brawny. Brawny. Brawny.
Brawny.
Brawny. Brawny.
Brawny.
Brawny.
It is a great story, and for the record, I can write my own rules has become my mantra around the office, which I know Douwe particularly appreciates. But some of you, I hope at least, are data geeks like me. So I want to talk a little bit about how data helped this story along. First, we started with a core group of consumers, namely women in STEM, women and men who support female empowerment, and our Brawny loyal buyers. We seeded the message with those consumers, allowed positive sentiment to build, and then amplified the message. A bonus was focusing on these loyal consumers allowed them to organically amplify the message as well, which hopefully you saw in the video with 1.6 billion earned impressions. Though we can't take full credit, having Ellen and the Williams sisters involved certainly didn't hurt. The second data piece was around driving sales of the exclusive pack at Walmart, where we partnered with WMX to optimize our campaign towards real-time return on ad spend in order to get to that 42% sales lift. And then lastly, from a perfect timing perspective, we had just completed our Crux implementation the month before, which was perfect because in March, Brawny saw its highest web traffic month ever. So now we've created a pool of audiences that we can continue to use and leverage through Brawny purpose-driven activations throughout the year.
So Brawny is a great example how we leverage story orchestration combined with the data-driven approach and turn around the brand that was declining only a few years ago. We also had the opportunity to do it right from the start on a new brand. We partnered with our sister company, Invista, who owns the best-known and most trusted brand in carpet. And we developed a line of carpet cleaning products, which we recently launched. You can see them here at the top. Now, while I can talk to you about carpet cleaning, which is a welcome distraction from paper and toilet paper, today we're going to talk about how we leverage story orchestration and data. We developed a story framework. We know the purpose of the brand. We know the conflict we're dealing with in close collaboration with our friends at Invista. And hired a new agency, VaynerMedia, an agency that was founded by Gary Vaynerchuk, to say, hey, listen, your approach to the market is very well aligned with our approach, and we're going to get a test run with you guys. They took the story framework and translated it in multiple stories. We developed 4 videos, which we then did in several markets. We used store matching tools to separate each market where we would launch the different social media videos, and then looked at the full loop from impression all the way to in-store sales to have a true A/B pre and post test and control testing, and learned 2 things. We clearly identified the most successful video that drives the most sales in the social media environment. But we also learned that in another environment called TV, where the videos are shorter and the environment is a little different, another video worked better. So as you look at Stay Master in the marketplace, you'll see something different from a storytelling perspective online through what you see on TV, but they're both rooted in the same story framework. But let's look at our winning social media video.
But why did we have to move?
This is going to be great. This move's going to be good for us. See? Told you. Hey there. We just moved in. I'm Brian. You gonna give him a home?
It's back.
What do you mean?
Daddy! Daddy! Help me!
Sam! Sam!
Daddy! Daddy, help me!
No! Why does it keep coming back?
example was obviously very different than what you probably would normally see from a CPG manufacturer, and I don't think that that would have seen the light of day without the support of data to help back up that consumers really resonated with it. Our last example is with Quilted Northern and Amazon. So as CPG marketers, and we think about story orchestration, it's critical to think about how that orchestration comes to life with your retail partners. For Quilted Northern, we were facing headwinds at store with less loyal buyers and retailers favoring private label. Amazon had a strong desire to grow their household penetration of paper products beyond about 3%. So we took the idea of Design to be Forgotten from Quilted Northern and the benefits of Amazon Subscribe and Save to come up with an award-winning activation around the most forgettable day of the year, National Toilet Paper Day. While the day is absolutely forgettable, the results were not. We saw huge sales, new audiences, and a pipeline for consumer growth. We'll take a quick look at the video and then talk about the data.
Toilet paper. Less than 3% of households buy it online. So this summer, Quilted Northern wanted to change that. We knew no one really wants to think about using toilet paper. And with services like Amazon Subscribe and Save, they can forget the experience of buying it too. So we decided to celebrate the most forgettable holiday of the year, National Toilet Paper Day, with a massive sale. And we kicked it off like this.
National Toilet Paper Day is not like other holidays. There are no gifts. No parades. No jolly people in suits. And no one gets this day off work.
To drive more buzz around our sale, we flipped the brick-and-mortar shopping experience on its head, building stores in New York City and Seattle. But with a catch. They were too small to walk inside. Instead, shoppers had to order Quilted Northern on their mobile phone. We also made Quilted Northern Ultra Soft and Strong the deal of the day on Amazon, utilized site-wide media opportunities, and integrated our campaign across platforms like Alexa, Dash, Prime Now, and Amazon Fresh. In a single day, we sold 2 months' worth of volume and climbed to the #1 bestseller in health and personal care within hours of launch. So while people may have forgotten about National Toilet Paper Day, they haven't forgotten that they can buy their toilet paper online. Quilted Northern, designed to be forgotten.
Thank you. So let me just say as a quick sales opportunity, if you have not ordered your paper products online, it's a game changer, parade or no parade, you can't go back after. So quickly on the data front, from National Toilet Paper Day, we took the non-data approach or undata approach, and we started with an untargeted line item so that we could understand if this really was forgettable for all, what all audiences are going to embrace it, and then we narrowed down to those who were going to optimize or who were performing well so we could optimize. From a real-time optimization perspective, we also had a single day to sell a lot of toilet paper. While it's probably not new for some of you in entertainment or sports or retail, we don't typically have a lot of real-time activation needs to sell toilet paper. So it's different for us. And then lastly, the idea of how we calculate long-term value for initiatives like this. As you can imagine, when you stand in front of your investors, you ask for a pretty good chunk of change for one day, they want to know it's not a flash in the pan. So working with Amazon, we unlock data to understand repeat and subscribe and save associated with a campaign to understand long-term value. At the end of the day, this is a successful activation for both companies, resulting again in a record-breaking amount of toilet paper sales in a day and new audiences for both of our companies.
This brings us to the end. This National Toilet Paper Day we did with Amazon were the first golden Effies that we ever won at Georgia Pacific. But they were also the first 2 golden Effies Amazon ever won. So it was a kind of a historic moment for both of our companies. Well, what's next? Basically, I told you that we leverage story orchestration as a starting point to develop our brand positions, looking at them, our brands, as if they were actors in improv theater. Leveraging story framework to feed your storytelling. That enables you to be so agile and flexible so that when you unlock the data, you can influence your story, which then influence the data, which then influence your story, and then influence your business results. If you do those three things right, the story orchestration, unlocking the data, and enabling this loop, you are able to get the right people with the right message at the right time and the right place. Now, I started off sharing with you that we believe that we're not big, we're not cool, we're not known, and we might not be big in data, but hopefully you got a little gem out of this presentation. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the summit.